Welcome to the Night Vision News special report on Warburg College's international community. I'm Mila Yushkova.
And I'm Yiğit Kaçmaz. Thanks for joining us. Life after Warburg requires international students to really plan ahead. Ben Revere and Henry Powers have the story.
For students graduating this May, their future lives and careers aren't always firmly in place. This could be doubly true for international students. Fourth-year computer science and engineering major Victor Cano Ramirez from Guatemala speaks on this.
It all depends. I think that for international students, like life, it's a little bit more uncertain, and because it can be volatile in the way that like you don't know where you're gonna end up, and there is a lot of uncertainty, especially when you have to try to take decisions after college, because you're essentially an adult, and it's a very difficult situation to navigate. Because for us, it's not like you can, for example, after college you graduate and you're like, okay, let me take like 3 months off, try to understand where I want to go, or like the jobs I want to apply to, things like that. No, really, we really have to have something already before we graduate because of our visa status and things like that. So the decisions have to be taken in advance a lot more, and so there is a lot of uncertainty.
With careful planning, some students have concrete plans after graduation, such as fourth-year Toera Longwe.
I actually do. So I was fortunate to get an internship through the Student Success Center here on campus, and I was lucky enough to get a full-time offer to continue there after I graduate. So I'll probably be in the Cedar Valley area, and I'm really excited to stay close to Wartburg, stay close to the place that has become so familiar to me.
For other international students, there are still more options for post-college plans.
So I have the opportunity to do an OPT. It's called Optional Practice Training. Okay. Essentially what that means is that depending on your major, you are allowed to stay. Well, you're not technically allowed, you have to apply for it, but you have the chance to stay in the US for another year or 3 years depending on your major. So for example, social scientists, so if you study econ or any social science, it's a year, but for STEM majors, anything with computer science, engineering, and biochem, things like that, you can stay for 3 years.
Ramirez is not the only one to apply for an OPT, as many other international students apply, such as Tumelo Rabale from Lesotho.
Yes, I just applied for the OPT. So since I'm taking information systems as my major, I'm going to have 3 years of work, and after that I might pursue masters in finance. That's what I'm looking at.
Finding a job or getting an OPT is harder than it seems, though, says international student Kilombe Etoya Longout from the Republic of the Congo.
But the system in the United States doesn't make it easy, because when you are an international student, you need a sponsorship to work, because most of them, they have OPT for 1 year. And it's really, trust me, it's not easy to find a job after graduating in United States when you are not American or permanent resident. So some of them, they are in 1 month from graduating, and they still do not have any opportunity to find jobs. And sometimes when I see that, I'm just scared for myself, but hopefully they will find one.
Despite some of their potential struggles after graduation, all of these students deeply value their education.
Well, I definitely think that I am privileged because of my education. That's something I don't take for granted.
I think it's really important to me to get an education. I think Nelson Mandela had a quote that says, "Education is a force to change the world." And I really do believe that that is true. And education isn't just hey, I go to class, I open my book, I listen to the professor, and that's my education. It's so much more than that to me. It's the people you interact with in your classes, it's the conversations you have with your professors about their lives. It's those key connections that you make, and you keep learning from everyone around you. So that's what education is to me.
Well done, Ben and Henry. Thanks for that illuminating report.
Speaking of illuminating, here's a still photographer who shines a light on interesting subjects around the world. Gabby McCoy and Zach Heine bring us the report.
Chiefy Loma has always had a passion for photography, but the location of his shots has changed a lot.
I've been to the Philippines, I've been to Macau, I've been to Taiwan, I've been to Singapore, I've been to Thailand, I've been to other African countries like South Sudan, Ethiopia, I've been to South Africa.
Loma has lived around the world and gotten to take pictures of some of the most beautiful places this globe has to offer. Now, he's a second-year journalism major at Wartburg College. Loma said it was an interesting process that landed him in Waverly.
In high school in Hong Kong, we were applying for unis which had scholarships, you know, and then Wartburg gave me a full scholarship. That's how I ended up choosing Wartburg.
When he arrived in Iowa, Loma was a bit confused.
I don't know how I got here. Someone somewhere lied to me. I didn't know how Iowa looks like. I didn't know how Waverly, not even Iowa, Waverly, I didn't know how it looked like.
But now he's at Wartburg. Loma is taking this opportunity to expand on his photography skills. After a discussion with Dr. Penny Peer, he started working in marketing and communications and for the Trumpet. Those jobs allow for him to get pictures of a variety of athletic and music events on campus.
And I got employed on the first week to work with the marketing and communications department, and they provide so many chances for me to take photos, like events on campus. Anything that happens on campus that is worth taking photos, I'm usually there.
Those opportunities have taught Loma a lot about the business side of photography.
Through that, I've really learned how to do photography in terms of business and marketing.
When he's not working for marketing and communications, Loma is experimenting with the artistic side of photography.
It has been fun experimenting with people on campus in terms of like doing different concepts, in terms of doing test photo shoots, and sometimes people are kind enough to appreciate my work, you know, and post it on their websites and stuff like that. Yeah.
Apart from the technical side of photography, Loma loves the connections that his hobby brings him.
Also, when I'm connecting with the person I'm taking photos with, like some people really do smile, you know, like they have like a personality they bring to the photo shoot, and that really engages me as a photographer too. And yeah, I think it's worth taking photos when people do appreciate your work. Yeah.
For more information about Chiefy's work, visit lomanize.com. After the break, we will look at the Culture Shock and Culture Week on campus.
If you're into sports media, Wartburg College invites you to be part of its new sports media concentration. Students prepare for work in sports-related fields from athletic reporting to sports information, broadcasting, video production, and more. Students have real-world experience with journalism and communication faculty and staff, learning valuable skills employers are looking for. Wartburg students work for organizations like the NFL, NASCAR, Major League Baseball, and ESPN. Visit the link below to learn more about Wartburg College.
Welcome back to the Night Vision News special report on the international community. Reporters Jace Mossman and Lauren Uvelin examined the shocking sides of coming to America and Wartburg.
Everything they said about the U.S. is true. Everything's just bigger.
According to the Wartburg College website, about 8% of Wartburg's population is international students, each with their own experiences of a variety of cultures. But what was the biggest amount of culture shock that they said about the United States? The food. Danish international student Dan Peterson explains further.
And at the Greyhound station, it was 5 or 6 a.m. There's this little fast food place. And saw they had hash browns. I'd never had hash browns before, so I went, sure, I'll have some hash browns. And a large pot, because the drinks were all the sizes were in ounces. And I didn't know ounces at the time, and I'm used to back home just ordering a large drink. You know, that's half a liter, thereabouts, very sizable, very easy. No, the large pop at a Greyhound station in Chicago is 32 ounces. I'm sitting there at 5 a.m. with 32 ounces of Diet Coke before I'm about to take a 6-hour bus ride. In utter disbelief, I'm like, everything they said about the U.S. is true. Everything's just bigger.
Vietnamese international student Thao Vu explains that the cultures can be similar, but one thing remains quite different.
Honestly, I don't think I had that much of culture shock when I moved to the US because the US is kind of similar to Germany in the sense that you guys are like all Western countries and you have the same kind of like, I don't know, like living styles, I would say. The only thing that I find very funny actually is how much you guys put on the plate when you eat. So I live in Germany, I live in France quite a while. Their plate is like super small, like you're supposed to finish everything by like one bite. And then here, everything is like triple the size, and I just don't know what to order, and I just look so dumb in restaurants and stuff.
Guatemalan international student Victor Cano Ramirez echoes previous comments, but also includes more about the social aspects of what it's like living in the United States.
I think the food was a big one. I think, especially, I don't know if it's the canteen here or in general, but like, there's a lot of cheese in the food, and that's not something that I'm particularly used to a lot. But yeah, of course, there is like other very crucial social things sort of that shock you, you know, and the way of living, it's very different, and I think you don't particularly have to completely try to adapt to that, but understand the social dynamic of the new place, right? And so I think that's definitely a shock. What is expected from you as a college student is very different than if it's very different if you're a domestic student, if you're an international student. So there is different social interactions and dynamics are definitely different, and I wouldn't necessarily say they're a shock, but I would definitely think that you kind of had to learn with time how to navigate those social environments, because if not, then you can definitely feel very off place in the sense that they will shock you and you will not try to find your place. So
this is James Mossman reporting for Night Vision News.
Excellent reporting, James and Lauren.
Now for another side of culture, as in Culture Week at Wartburg. Danica Rademacher and Braden Carlson have the story.
iClub is having another culture show at Wartburg College. This show involves students from around the world sharing their culture. President of iClub, Naledi Mobello, tells us more.
Okay, so Culture Week this year is from the 2nd of May until the 6th. So it will start with each day designated to other minority groups like Salsa, ASA, ARC, and BSU. So on their respective days, they'll have specific activities. So for example, Salsa will have Holi, which will be on the lawn, and then ASA will have Holi on the lawn. Salsa will have a tasting of traditional drinks in the basement of the chapel, and then ARC will have a dance choreography like class, and then BSU will have a tasting of desserts, and then we'll end all that on Saturday with the culture show. But we'll have like an official list of when and locations and times so everyone can know exactly where it is. So that's just like a breakdown of Culture Week leading into Culture Show.
Culture Week, and especially the Culture Show, allows international and minority students a chance to share their culture.
It's important because I feel like throughout the school year, we're kind of like in the shadows, like we're just students and we're part of the classroom, and there's not an opportunity to really showcase our background or cultures and where we come from, especially in classroom settings, because we're there to do math and we'll do math, right? So it's important to have a designated week or a designated time that allows minority students and students with cultural backgrounds to have a moment to really be proud and showcase our food, our culture, our clothing in a space where everyone can be welcome and share that with us.
In past years, iClub has put on a talent show to showcase their cultures. However, this year they turned it into a play.
So the culture show is a little different every year. It's basically a talent show for international students to showcase their traditional attire, their traditional dance, or traditional music. But this year we wanted to focus on the theme of Ubuntu, because that was like brought to the campus as a whole, which is the sense of togetherness and that we make a community. So we wanted it to we opened up the auditions to everyone on campus. So it's more of a showcasing of cultures and togetherness, including the U.S. students that are also on campus. So it was structured as a play and not necessarily a talent show. So there won't be any MCs in between. It's going to be like a story. It's going to have a storyline, and you'll be able to follow that through the different talents and shows that will.
The culture show will still include different acts as well as the flag ceremony to start off the show.
So the groups have been practicing independently. We'll have a full dress rehearsal when we come back from the break. We have 11 performances right now, and then we have sort of a flag show at the beginning of the show that has 12 people on it right now that will showcase the different nationalities that are found on campus.
Don't miss out on iClub Culture Week beginning May 1st and end it by going to the Culture Show on May 6th at 6:30 p.m. in Newman Auditorium.
Make sure to mark your calendar for the weekend. And thank you, Danica and Braden, for keeping us in the know.
Now we bring you an interview with Dr. Quentin Richardson, Warburg's Academic Success and Retention Coordinator. Night Vision's own Eat Catch Mas talks to Q about international student life.
Welcome to Night Vision News. Today our guest is Dr. Quentin Richardson, Wartburg's Academic Success and Retention Coordinator. Hello, Dr. Richardson. How are you today?
Doing wonderful. It's a beautiful day outside. I'm feeling good, and I'm glad to be here with you.
Thank you for coming in again. And my first question for you today is, you have been here for just over 2 years, about 2 years and a half. So what do you observe about the international community at Wartburg?
Interesting. The international community here at Wartburg is a very talented group of students that's here from all around the world that bring a lot of different perspectives to campus and a lot of viewpoints, as well as skills, because I have multiple ones that work for me in the Academic Resource Center. So overall, it's just a great group of students that bring something different to Waverly and Wartburg that isn't typically used to being seen in this part of Iowa.
And how do you help ensure international students' academic success?
I think the first thing I do is just listen to them, because it's hard to help someone if you don't know what their problems are, what they're dealing with. So I was taught a long time ago, it's hard to help somebody if you don't know what they need help with. So I just try to start off by just giving them my ear and listening to them and seeing what I can do to help them. Now, everything that they have going on, I might not necessarily be able to help them, but I can put them in the right direction with other faculty and staff on campus that is able to help them.
Earlier this year, you had an event with international students. How did that go?
It went wonderful. It was actually for international and multicultural students. It was December 1st, and it was probably one of the biggest events this year so far that international students attend. I think we had roughly maybe 100 faculty, staff, and students that came out. And it was just really an event that was just geared towards motivating students and letting them know that we care for them and we care about their well-being and their academics and what they think. So it's actually a 3-part series. We were only able to do 1 part in December, and then some things with scheduling kind of threw off our 2nd and 3rd one. But once the school year starts, we plan on continuing that series of events, which is strictly about motivating students to be here at Wartburg, and when the term or the semester is over with, coming back so that they can finish their education here. My number one responsibility outside of seeing students be successful is also retaining them here at Wartburg. So I want them to start here, and I want them to finish here as well.
How do you help international students navigate the American experience to the fullest on and off campus?
Well, I think the number one thing for me is trying to get them the resources that they're used to. So obviously being in America or being in Iowa, some of the things are different than what they're used to, but then there's also resources that are similar to the ones that they have at home. So my goal is to get them closest to what they're used to. So whether that means I'm letting them know where they can get food at, what's up, might be the International Grocery Store in Waterloo, or it might be a hairdresser or somebody that can cut their hair, do their hair the way that they're used to doing it. I try to get them those personal things that they need, because it's hard for them to focus academically if they're not right personally within themselves. So I just want to make people feel comfortable and make sure that they're doing well, and then focus on the academic side.
Thank you very much, Dr. Richardson. From Night Vision News, I'm Yiğit Kaçmaz.
Thank you, Dr. Richardson, and thanks, Eid, for the interview. We will be back with more international flavor.
Wartburg College has earned an international reputation for excellence in music, offering degrees in music education, music therapy, music performance, and church music. Students can also earn a dual degree in music therapy and music education, as well as a master's in music therapy. More than 1/3 of all Wartburg students participate in one of 18 music ensembles, which are open to both music majors and non-majors. To learn more about Wartburg's music program, visit wartburg.edu/music.
Students are a long way from home, and one thing they can miss is home cooking. This is how the new Volmer kitchen is spicing up their lives. Ethan Schaugo and Will Armstrong take us into the kitchen.
Food may be essential as fuel for the body, but good food can become fuel for the soul. With the recent renovations of the newly named Ubuntu Center, a gourmet kitchen has been added to the second floor of Volmer Hall, with the intention to provide a space where students can have culinary freedom with all of the necessary modern tools.
I cook many things, from pasta to chicken to different dishes from different parts of the world.
The international community on campus has utilized the space for large potluck-style dinners, with the students cooking traditional meals in the space and sharing them with everyone.
A lot of internationals just come up here and then they, we invite each other. They're like, oh, we're cooking this, come over. It also makes us closer, I think, as an international group, which would be cool if we, incorporated it with domestic students as well, so that we get closer with everyone as well too.
For a lot of the people here, these dinners where we all get together and we bring food that we've made ourselves that resemble our own country or where we come from, our own cultures. It's an opportunity to share and to really get together in a whole different way and create connections that we wouldn't have been able to make otherwise.
Students connect over break and holidays, like Ramadan and Easter, to cook, eat, and laugh.
People have busy lives, and when we come together, we enjoy each other's company. For me, it's usually the people around me that really does matter, because I can cook food on my own in Clinton, where I live. People can cook individually, but once we come together, it's more about the laughter and the good vibes.
These multinational mealtimes help students to connect with each other and build a further diversified community on Wartburg's campus.
This new kitchen just was wow. I was in love with it. The first time I saw the big fridge, I saw the modern stoves and stuff. It's crazy. It's really nice. So whoever loves baking, whoever loves broiling chicken, air frying stuff, this is the place for you. This kitchen is really nice. It's very modern. I wish there would be more spaces like this in different other buildings, like Manners. Manners doesn't have a kitchen. But yeah, so if they could have modernized everything around campus in terms of kitchens, it'll be way better. But I'm appreciative of what we have now, and it's enough, yeah.
Reporting from Waverly, Iowa, this is Night Vision News.
Thanks, Ethan and Noel, for that delicious story.
International students bring their unique talents from across the globe to Wartburg. Here is more from Zach Heine and Gabby McCoy.
Tonight I'm moving on.
Wartburg College is home to many talented individuals. From music groups to athletic teams to talent shows, Wartburg students have many different ways to show off their talents. For some students, like fourth year Sergio Elenas, music has been a passion for their whole life.
Guitar-wise, I started back in Mexico. I actually started singing in a Catholic choir. So one of the members of the choir of my church I used to go to, he introduced me to the guitar. He taught me the basics, and then from there I just pretty much self-taught myself.
Elenas is originally from Mexico, but has been harnessing his music talent at Wartburg for a few years. He played at Castle Capers and open mic nights at Sasquatch Jacks and will be playing at the Culture Show on May 6th. He said that his time at Wartburg has helped him enhance his musical talent.
That's how it has helped me. Wartburg has helped me get out of my comfort zone and just get my music into the public.
Another student who has gotten involved in music at Wartburg is third year Melissa Miziako. Originally from Eswatini, she has always enjoyed singing.
I always really love singing. I remember in primary school, which is what we call it back home, which is middle school kind of. I joined a little choir that we had, and I really just fell in love with singing. And then when I kind of got involved in my church back home is when I guess did even more and would go to worship team practices. And then in high school I joined a choir, which was awesome. One of my favorite memories is being in choir in high school.
Now at Wartburg, she is a member of Cantorai, the non-audition mixed choir on campus. She just joined Cantorai this year, but has had a lot of fun getting involved with one of the 5 curricular choirs on campus.
But once I joined choir, I really felt I made more friends, and we really have this really almost a sense of family and community that's in there, which is similar to back home. All my friends did choir, and I made really great friends there. So.
Another student who has tuned in on their talent at Wartburg is second year Ahmed Bassam. Bassam is from the Maldives and is on the soccer team at Wartburg. He's had a love for soccer since childhood.
And then I always see my friends, the people that I'm close with, their family plays football too. And then that's when I was I need to learn how to play, and probably I was 6 when I first started playing.
Bassam officially joined the soccer team and is a defender. He's found a lot of camaraderie through the team and has had fun being a member of the team.
Everyone in our football team, they're very friendly. So since from the first day, I always felt like I belonged to a family on campus. So that's the main reason I think that I decided to stay and continue football too.
Bassam, Mizako, and Elenas have each had different journeys to Waverly, Iowa. However, all 3 of them have used this opportunity provided at Wartburg to continue their passion.
Thank you, Zach and Gabby, for an inspiring story. This concludes this KV News special report on Wartburg's international community.
Thanks for watching and allowing us to share a unique perspective of the Wartburg community. For Mila Yushkova, I'm Yiğit Kaçmaz. Have a great summer.